Hello, my name is Tristan Liu, and today I will be telling you why my poem, Can't Burn Us All, should be displayed in my community. This poem should be displayed specifically in Asian-owned businesses such as restaurants, stores, etc. They should be placed here because customers will see the poem and notice its message and spread it. Asian Americans will see the poem and learn to advocate for others, and it will show others that we are tired of the mistreatment that we are getting and are sticking together. This is Vincent Chin. He was 27 when he was beaten to death by two men in Detroit. The poet uses the structural device illusion to further convey his theme. The first example that he uses: "Leave us alone, we have done nothing to you, but still you mock him and take the cans out of his cart." In this instance, the poet refers to an incident where a Chinese man was collecting cans and then was harassed. Another quote that is used is, "What have we done to get beaten black and blue? You gang up on me and then take my shoes." The poet refers to an Asian woman who was beaten up by a gang of teenagers and then robbed. Finally, the author states, "Let's just remember that we must stick together no matter what, and must remind ourselves that they can't burn us all." The poet refers to the Can't Burn Us All movement that is meant for justice for Asian Americans, organized by a rapper named China Mac. This is Danny Chen. He was a 19-year-old American U.S. Army soldier when he was continuously harassed by his fellow soldiers and eventually driven to suicide. This is how illusion has an effect on the poem. The poet uses illusion to hint at real Asian American attacks that have occurred recently. He talks about the man in Chinatown who was collecting used cans to try and make some extra money, and a group of people came up to him, stole his cans, and ridiculed him. He also talks about the group of teenagers who assaulted a young Asian woman and then stole their shoes. To close the poem, he makes a reference to the new Asian American movement meant to bring awareness and stop the spread of violence towards Asian Americans. Of course, this is a reference to the Asian woman who was burned by two people. This helps the reader to realize the magnitude of violence that Asian Americans face and is intended to bring Asian Americans together, while also informing others of what is really going on. This is Harry Liu. He was a U.S. Marine and was harassed by his fellow Marines until he was driven to suicide. The author uses words such as beaten, normalized, and scared to further convey his message. The author uses the word beaten and is meant to express how Asian Americans are being treated, which is attacked. It also creates a disheartening tone for the reader. The author uses the word normalize, which is meant to show how these attacks are perceived by the observers. It creates a worrisome tone for Asian Americans to realize that the attacks on them aren't seen as significant. Finally, the author uses the word scared. In this instance, the poet uses this word to show that how he, as an Asian American, feels about his friends and family. He uses this to portray a cautious tone to the reader, who may also have Asian American friends or family. He does this to show how disappointing it is for him to have to worry about the safety of about people who should not be bothered in the first place. This is Jonathan Mock. He was brutally attacked when people started to shout racial slurs at him and accuse him of having the coronavirus. The overall message of the poem. The poem, Cannot Burn Us All, by Tristan Liu, sends a message that Asian Americans have been getting brutally mistreated for too long, and it's time for us to take a stand. He does this by using illusion and impactful word choices that would benefit the Asian American community. It should be displayed in places such as Asian-owned businesses and restaurants because there are a lot of anti-Asian crimes in those places, and it will encourage people to reflect on the hate that they are spreading. It will also inspire Asian Americans who have been subjected to this mistreatment to stick up for themselves and for others. Thank you.